Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today I'm going to get into a video on new technology that's coming out. A viewer of mine, a few of them, has been asking me to make videos on what I think is going to happen in the future as far as upcoming technology. So let's get into something that's going to happen maybe next 5 years. I think, and for those of you who don't know, technology, it's really meant to replace a given task that we do today, or it's to make something more effective, which tends to be putting a lot of people's heads on a chopping block. They're losing their job and they got to find something else. Well, what the question is not what is the next best technology, but what is the next heads going to be on the chopping block? And I think it's the concierge services. So I used to use this a while back. It's My Assist. I used it back in 2012. They were really good, hands down, real good. I haven't used them since 2012. So it's 2017 now, so I can't really tell you one way or another about today. It's way too far for me to feel comfortable with it. But when I left them, I felt comfortable enough to going back if I needed her services again. It's just the fact of the matter is I just stopped needing her service overall since I'm at home almost all the time. Well, the thing is that I already got all my stuff planned anyways. So the thing is a lot of their services, and I got Red Butler up. They're a different one. They are a much higher end virtual assistant, but the thing is they cost a lot more. And I'll leave links down below to both of them so you can check them out. But they are worthwhile checking out if you're into this stuff. So the thing is you're able to see here is a lot of this is already being replaced. So it's basic stuff like weather updates and stuff like referrals, restaurant referrals, reservations, and stuff like that. Those are been replaced in some form of fashion for a while now on smartphones. But things like event planning actually hasn't. So one of the things that they have on here is, and it's pretty cool. I actually used this back in 2012 when I was playing with them. They actually have an ability where you can send them a text message, like it'll be in their system already if you allowed it, say what your doctor is, the number of the doctor's office, and all that other stuff. So when I had a dental checkup, or when I had something that need to be worked on, or whatever it may be, whether it's regular doctor or whatever, what I can do is send them a simple text message saying, hey, I need to see a doctor at such and such date, and they'll basically call up the doctors themselves, say this person needs to see a doctor, when's the best date to get them in, and they'll try to get as soon as possible, and go from there, or whatever date I told them to go for, and they'll go for that. Then I'll get an email back saying all the confirmations and whatever it may be, and the interactions. So with that actually helped out a bit because, okay, I could send them a text message saying, make me an appointment for, whatever date and time. And they'll spend 15 minutes on the phone, an hour on the phone, whatever it may be, to get across, say, hey, I need this, and there you go. In doctor's office, they were not too, that was a very rare thing, especially where I'm at. It's a very country area, and not a lot of people have money, so you're not going to see a lot of people with personal assistants and stuff like that. But with that, they do stuff like that. You can't do that with phones, especially with a lot of doctor's offices and a few other things. They don't have a system that's integrated enough to do that in the first place. So the thing is they still are king on that. But the problem is that's going to go away very shortly. So what you're already seeing is a few things with machine learning. So machine learning is basically able to see how we talk, either by Google can actually take all these videos on YouTube and see how people are interacting with it, for one, but also see how people are talking. So if people are interacting with it being, trolls and whatever, then it knows not to take these serious. But if people are taking it somewhat serious, like if you actually take a look at it, so for example, I was going to do a video on this one. I might still do it. but the person is just asking a serious question, and based on the nature of the thing, they know it's not a troll. It's an actual serious business question. So it looks at how I'm talking, how other people, similar subject matter talks, and whatever it may be. And it's able to figure out the pitch, the how we verbally communicate, down to even the words that we communicate with. So where someone like PewDiePie, he raises his voice up and does all this other stuff, is going to know from the comment section to ignore that altogether. Where from this it knows to pay attention to that, plus other channels like it knows to pay attention to it. So what happens is it's able to figure out how to simulate a person's voice, how to make it sound like an actual person's on their phone. Because whenever you pick up a phone and call not a person that you know, but say some customer service or something else, like something that you're not going to interact with in the future, physically interact with, but it might be digitally or something like that. Well, when you're talking on the phone, how do you actually know that's an actual person and not a computer? It's based on the how we talk. Well, the thing is the computers. You can take a machine learning algorithm and it'll look at all the little details on how we talk. And what would end up happening is all of a sudden you got a machine that sounds just identical to any person out there. And obviously it'll have its own voice and whatever it may be, but what would end up happening is from there it's able to call out to the like doctor's offices and whatever, so it's easier to get across. They don't think it's a joke or anything like that. So from there what happens is the as the machine's talking to the person, the machine knows that you need to have a checkup, or you say, oh, I got a toothache or my back hurts or whatever it may be. And it can figure out that through the wearables. So, like for example, if it sees that you're getting horribly sluggish and whatever it may be, it might schedule you a doctor's appointment. Obviously, you have to confirm it or not, saying that you want to do this, or you just tell it, say, "Hey, I got a toothache or whatever it may be," and the thing says, "Okay, I will schedule you an appointment." And what you're seeing on your end is that where it's saying, okay, I will schedule an appointment. But what it's doing is on its end, it's calling the doctor's offices. It sounds like an actual real person. It says, some line of saying, hey, I need to have this person. They need to see a dentist. Can you schedule them in? What time? Blah, blah, blah. And based on the algorithm on what the machine learned in the past and what it knows on how to react to given situations, on what words are coming across and what's being able to hear from the person over the phone. What's able to happen is the basically the thing's able to do a full simulation of a conversation. The receptionist at the doctor's office is not going to know that that's not an actual person. The receptionist is given that the it's okay for a personal assistant to make an appointment for you. Basically what's going to end up happening is the receptionist is going to schedule an appointment. In the system, it'll either show up on your phone, the date and time, or email it to you, or both. And that way you know that at this day and time you got an appointment for whatever it may be. So all you said is my tooth hurts, I got a toothache or something like that. So it recognizes, oh, we need to schedule this person for a dental appointment. But instead of you spending like this concierge stuff where I can text them, hey, I need a dental appointment, where like that, it spends the 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever amount of time it takes to get that appointment, and then you got it set up and whatever it may be, and there you go. Now, where this system won't come in handy is bargaining prices and things like that. But and what I mean by this is contracts and stuff like that. it won't be able to do stuff immediately, like bargaining for a lowest price. So, for example, I can send out a personal assistant. Like if I had an actual personal assistant, not this virtual concierge stuff, but if I had an actual personal assistant and I was doing some, I don't know, buying and selling properties or whatever it may be, I can send them out to, if I trust them, to do some of the negotiation, and basically they can negotiate some of the stuff for me. Especially if I don't really care about the results at the end of the day, where this won't be able to do that. The person says, this is $8, and the machine says, okay, and you'd be looking at it, says, no, that's actually 12 cents. Why'd you go for $8? So that's the thing that you gotta keep in mind, is stuff like that is still gonna be behind, but 99% of this concierge stuff, it's going to be able to do. I mean, actually 100% of let me pull it back up, of this, it pretty much will be able to do. Because I mean, like you already have stuff like where, the weather updates and stuff like that, it does it for you. But then the thing that is, there's a few things in here that it doesn't list that I know for a fact they can do it because I used them for that. Where they, I asked them, I forgot what it was. I don't have the camera in front of me. It's a pretty old camera. It's a 3D camera. I was doing some research on 3D cameras and stuff like that back then. And I was asking them to, because I was working at the time, I was full-time working, and basically I was going out and doing all these other things, so I didn't have time to research for a simple 3D camera. But I wanted a 3D camera so I could take pictures, and I was able to print them in 3D formats and do make holograms and whatever. Well, a family and whatnot. So what ended up happening is I am telling them, hey, can you find me the cheapest 3D cameras and whatever it may be. You're already finding some of that with search engine. So some plugins for some browsers, you can actually do that, where if it sees that, oh, you're shopping for this given product, well, here's a bunch of products that are like it, which is what Amazon does, by the way, for the recommendations, also eBay. But it also it shows you the price of that product in other places that it knows about. So what happens is it has this what's called crawlers, web crawlers. It's stuff that's been around for a while, and it's able to pull information from all these websites. Try not to get too technical into it, but it's able to pull all this information out there. So say, for example, where I deal with farming. So I want to go into black walnut farming, which is true. Well, I want to find out who's the buyers in the local area, and then go further out. How much are black walnut farmers making, and so on, and the conditions that they grow in and all this other stuff. Well, what happens is I give it a general phase like that, and within the next day or maybe a couple hours from now, I'll get a whole document of things that I should know about this. So it knows that I do farming, so it knows about that about me. It knows that I deal. I'm looking at black walnuts to obviously make money on, and for long-term profit. So what happens is the thing I say, I want to know more about black walnuts. The thing goes out. It sees farming, how much people make from it, if it's profitable, the problems people have with it, and all these things. And it's able to pull it all into one singular document and be able to present it as if a given person, that you hired a person to do all the research for you, which is one of the things the concierge services does. So with that, it will totally replace them. And you might be asking, that last thing is, you hire someone to do these research things for you. It might take a while, might not take too much time, but you hire someone to make a document, an easily digestible document for you, saying all the stuff. And how does a machine learn from that? Well, guess what's uploaded all the time to Google, or some of these other places? Pages, specifically Scholar pages. So people upload their school documents. Google was acquiring school documents, Google was acquiring books and stuff like that. So it sees how people put information together. There you go. So, and even with something like Google Drive, where people use the PowerPoint and all these other things, so it sees how people put things together, and it has a machine that goes through all that, learns how to best present information, and that way it knows how to best present information to whoever's using it at the time. That's the thing. Now, where is the money going to come in? Because a lot of this is going to be free. So where's the money going to come in? This is the kicker. What's going to end up happening is one of a few things. One is it's going to be like Google is now, where they sell your information in order to keep it free. You don't have a choice on buying it. So like these people who do these power trips are saying, well, if everybody put down $12 on Facebook, then they wouldn't be selling your data or whatever. No, that's BS, because I don't even see an option for that. So one option is that they sell your information like they are now. They're able to collect more information, sell the information for advertisement, and advertise on that information. That's a big thing, which is probably going to end up happening. There's other things like governments and whatever, if they do social experiments. So look at Facebook. They did social experiment on when Obama was going around. There was a social experiment on what happens is show people only negative feeds versus positive feeds, and also show people only positive feeds versus negative feeds. What would end up happening? And they paid for stuff like that. Well, that's where some of the money is going to come in. Now, will it affect your end result at the end of the day? I don't think so, because that will be the death knell in that product. That there'll be, once one of these take off, as you see with Google Home first was off, then Amazon Alexa took off, then Google Home's trying to top that. So Windows is trying to do their thing, and Apple is talking about getting in, and then some of these other no brand, no name, whatever is trying to jump into it. Well, the thing is a similar thing's going to happen here. Whether Google is the first one to jump into it, which is the most likely it's going to be called something like Google Concierge Services or something like that. But whether Google's the first one to jump in, or Windows is, or whatever it may be, the fact of the matter is as it starts taking off and one of these major companies doing it, the smaller companies, no-name companies, are going to start falling to pace, and these other ones are just going to start generate behind it. The cool thing about this is, unlike YouTube, where YouTube is about a 2.5 billion loss per year, and that's a significant thing. Unlike that, this really won't be a loss at all, because you're collecting minimalistic data. Because what you have is the name of a business, the number of a business, who works there, or whatever it may be. So what happens here is you have that stored at one place. So you can actually have it earmarked on people's profiles to look at that given business, instead of storing it here, storing it there, store it wherever. You can store it at one location and have a call to for that. That's a very basic coding technique. That's extremely basic. That's a very beginner. So the storage on it is very minimalistic into itself, and the interaction, whatever, it will get better and better as more people use it, and as time passes by. One way or another, it's going to get better. So what's going to end up happening is, as people use this, whether that they are curious about it or actually using it, the fact of the matter is it will get better. So you don't have to train it anymore, because the user base, or the guinea pigs, are training it to make it better, so they get better service out of it, whether they like it or not. And so overall, all they have to worry about is, how do we make money off of this without charging the user base? And is there even a way that we can charge a user base for some minimalistic things? So that's something to keep in mind. That's probably what's going to end up happening next. Is is you're going to go up and say, I need to schedule a flight, a business flight to wherever. And the thing will take care of the whole thing itself. Look for, you got these programs out there that already now looking for the lowest costing hotel, looking for the lowest costing whatever, and it'll schedule a flight, schedule all the stuff, and it'll let you know the best time to leave for gas, the when you should leave for the flight. And by the way, we see you're going to this location and there's a bunch of hotels. Do you want to stay at any of them? So that's probably where the advertisement is going to come into play. But it's going to be things like that, and people are going to use it more and more and more to the point that it's going to replace this entire concierge services. Do I think it's bad? No, because the concierge services, I know this video is going a little bit long. The concierge services, what they can do is they can go ahead and start having their people do their job as they are now, have a machine learning program in the back end, learning how the people interact from their company to the people. And what happens here is that machine learning program, once it has the same success rates, like same success and failure rates, or better success rates and lower failure rates than a normal person, then the fact of the matter is you can just replace everybody, because one program can run a whole bunch of different phones and it can be copied for free like that. Whereas a single person, they need time off, they can't be copied. So if they choose not to do this anymore and they're your best employee, then that sucks, and so on. Whereas this, it just needs a one-time training. It's going to be a long training, but it's one-time training. It'll see everybody have these simulations on the back end, and the people who's doing their job might not even know that they're being watched by the machine learning algorithm, and they're training what's going to make them obsolete. So that's what you got to keep in mind. And if you're in one of these jobs as a concierge person, you probably got in there 5 years, give or take. Most of you probably are not there to stick it out for a long period of time, but you probably got 5 years, and then you're going to need to find something else. Because in fact, any person, teleperson, whether it's a help center or whatever it may be, unless if it's something a little bit on the advanced side, like say for example, desk help or whatever it may be, like if it's billing or something like that, you most likely can replace that with a machine learning algorithm. Because once this gets good enough, well, the fact of the matter is these companies. So for example, if My Assist here or Red Butler does that or whatever, because once it gets good enough, you won't be able to tell if you're talking to a person or a computer from your end, because right now you can't see the person. So are you talking to a computer or are you talking to a person? You probably really will be surprised. And there's been a lot of testing of this, and they've been finding that a lot of people can't tell. The same thing with like poetry and things like that. People can't tell. They can't tell what is written by a person versus not. Well, the thing is what's going to end up happening is a company like this, My Assist or Red Butler or whatever else, they might take a program like this, train it, have it develop itself and get very good. And once it has a very good success rate into their system, what happens is they can go ahead and lease out the system to the other companies, kind of like IBM Watson is from IBM. So with that, they're able to take their virtual machine system and lease it out to whatever company for billing, for whatever type of help. And unless if it's very, very technical wise, it's able to accomplish all the tasks that most anyone who's on the phone is able to accomplish. So with that, that's just something that you might want to note. That's just how things going to be, at least how I see it. But anyways, if you agree with that, don't agree with that, whatever it may be, feel free to leave a comment down there below. I'll be more happy to take a look at that. But I'll see you next video. Hope you have a great day.